I'm here at Lehigh Valley Hospital, Schuylkill, your community partner. We're starting this show, as you know, every quarter, bringing you up to date of what the great things that Lehigh Valley Hospital, the network, is doing. Great show today, my friends. We have two very important people that are driving the healthcare. Just the bar keeps going up and up. I want to thank a lot of you who have been sending me emails, and when they come to see us, my wife and I, if we're shopping, this one lady came up to me and she said, Mr. Losant, my husband and I want to thank you for having the show with the hospital. And they were listening to a doctor and telling about something and about what they should do, etc. And my husband said, no, I'm not going to the doctors, but I'm afraid what they're going to tell me, you know, that kind of stuff. And she said, well, finally, when we watched the show 3 times, she said, to finally convince them to go. Thank God they went, because they found something with her husband that they were able to correct. If they would have waited longer, it would have been curtains. So my friends, you want to thank Lehigh Valley Hospital Network for sponsoring these shows, because this show is going to be entertaining to a degree, but also very informative. And what's the whole reason? To keep you healthy. Just recently I went for my routine tech. Dr. Benio said, you better go and get checked. I did. Scared out of my mind, but however, thank God everything went, and you know, we're doing some fine tuning. So this is the reason for this show. There's many services, so many services that they have here at Schuylkill Hospital, as well as they have in all their hospitals. And I'm very happy to have on the show today, no stranger to the show, Bill Reppy, who is the president here at Lehigh Valley Hospital, Schuylkill, and Vice President of Operations in the Northwest region, and Terry Purcell, who is the president of Lehigh Valley Hospital in the Northwest region, is also in Hazleton. We'll be joined a little later on with Dr. Mady. First of all, Bill, thanks for having us back again.
Thank you, Sam. Pleasure to be with you again.
A lot of great information we're bringing. Okay, kudos to the staff, the medical staff, and all your hospitals. So tell me, Bill, give us a little introduction about the latest developments that are happening here in the Lehigh Valley Hospital in Schuylkill.
Sure. So excited to talk about some really great projects that we're doing here in Schuylkill County. We're adding a new MRI at our East Campus. We are adding a second 3D mammography unit. We are also expanding our residency programming. We hired a new family medicine doctor to be the assistant director of our residency program. Just really lots of great things happening here in Schuylkill County. Lehigh Valley Health Network continues to invest very significantly to make sure that we have the infrastructure, technology, and the people to do this work. We're also happy to announce that we're going to be expanding back into Orwigsburg. So we had a presence there some years ago, closed the practice. We have now recruited a new physician, an internal medicine doctor that's going to be practicing there. We've begun some construction to remodel that building, and so we're going to have a presence in southern Schuylkill County again. So again, a lot of things moving and shaking here in Schuylkill County and across our health network.
How do you determine, okay, what technology you should be using? How do you determine where it should go, what you need? What dictates that?
Well, several things. As you know, technology changes so rapidly today that you know, by the time you install some equipment, it's almost out of date. So we certainly want to look at what's the best technology available, but also you have to level set that with, you know, what services do you provide. So for example, you know, we have a robot for robotic surgery here in Schuylkill County, but our robot does not do open heart surgery because we don't do open heart surgery here. So we don't buy that model for here. We buy the appropriate model for here. So, you know, it's an assessment of, you know, what are the needs of the community, what's the best technology that we can bring to the market, and what's the need.
A team is always so important, and you know, it seems that your team, you know, in all the hospitals have been great, and I've seen so much advancement over the years. When you're looking at technology and you're looking at what you need, is this dictated to you by what's happening in your communities? For example, things are different, maybe a little different in Schuylkill County than are Hazleton or Poconos or Allentown or the other campuses.
You know, absolutely, Sam. So again, there's certain things that we don't need to have here in Schuylkill County because we don't provide those services. We don't do brain surgery, we don't do things of that nature. So what we would be buying here is maybe a little bit different than what they would be doing in Allentown or even in Hazleton or Pocono, for that matter. So yeah, we certainly assess the community. and marry up the technology to the services that we provide. So at the end of the day, that we can make sure that we provide very high quality, very safe care here in our local community.
Recruitment. Always a concern as to getting, the doctors, and it's. I was talking about responses from the show when I have a doctor comes on, and we talk about, well, why did you decide to come to Lehigh Valley Network? And it's encouraging to hear what they have to say. But how do you go about getting recruitment and getting the qualified? Because you're not taking anybody on board.
That's correct. That's correct. So we have our own internal recruiting department for Lehigh Valley Health Network, and we also partner with national firms. But for our hospital here in Schuylkill County, we're really looking for somebody that's looking for a more rural setting. Obviously, we're a rural county. And so, tends to be people more interested in nature, skiing because of the Poconos being so close to us. But most importantly is the caliber and quality of the physician. To your point, we just don't hire anybody. We want to make sure that when you come to Lehigh Valley hospitals, any of our hospitals, do you get the same exact quality across the board. So you see that in our institutes with our Heart Institute, our Topper Cancer Institute. We follow the same protocols. So if you come to Schuylkill County for cancer care, you're getting exactly the same treatment as you would get in Hazleton, as you get in Pocono, or you get at Lehigh Valley. We make sure that we're all protocol-driven and using evidence-based medicine all the time.
That's fantastic. Yeah, and you can see the attitude, which I've seen. I was going to the Health and Wellness Center to get my test there, and everyone was fantastic. Even when I came in here this morning, in your hospital, Schuylkill, everyone's so nice and pleasant, and it's encouraging because I'm a nervous wreck to begin with.
Right.
I'm going for a stress test. I said to Dr. Mady, I don't need a stress test. I have stress every day.
That's right. When you walk in his office, you get stressed.
Yeah,
right?
I said, what do I need a stress test for? Now, you're also the vice president of the Northwest region. How does that play?
So we just recently created regions in our health network. And so the concept for us, particularly in this Northwest region, Terry and I partner together, is how do we make sure that we can provide services in the region? Again, being small community hospitals, to your point earlier, it's sometimes a little difficult to recruit doctors to this market. And so one of the things we're looking at is, I'll pick on ENT as an example. So let's say Schuylkill County needs 2 ENT surgeons, and Hazleton needs 2 ENT surgeons. That means that our docs in these 2 hospitals would be on call every other day or every other week. We have to worry about quality of life for our doctors as well, and work-life balance. So in a region, maybe we create a region group that now there's 4 docs in the group, and you're on call once a month or 1 week a month instead of every other week. We also look at how do we regionalize services. A lot of the services we look to provide are very expensive. A linear accelerator is over $5 million just for the machine. So do we regionalize that and do cancer care in a more regional approach for the more expensive things? And so that's really the concept of how do we integrate not only our 2 current hospitals, but our new hospital in Carbon County to make sure that we can deliver on our promise to deliver high quality, safe care close to home.
Yeah. And to answer the question about quality, okay, you immediately when you're done with the visit, you get a questionnaire.
Absolutely.
And I think that questionnaire tells a story. Okay,
It
and
does.
I think you probably value that very much because that's where you're able to say, this is, and that's fabulous. I think.
Absolutely, it's very important. Our patient feedback is critical for us. We'd like to think we're perfect. We are not. We're human beings. We do make mistakes once in a while, and so when we're delivering care, we want to know where we've failed to meet somebody's expectation. And then we try to tweak our system to make sure we're better the next time. And it's a continual process. But beyond even the paper survey or the email survey, we actually have our colleagues going around visiting patients every day and talking to them one-on-one and saying, how's your visit going? Is there something we could be doing better to help you with your stay? Again, it's a journey. We will never be perfect, but we're on this journey to get as perfect as we can be.
You're doing fat because I had to go through a lot of tests and they even call you, and not because it's Sam Lassant, but my wife, they'll call the next day. How'd you make out with this? How'd you do that? That's fantastic. I really think. Now, you're sitting next to a person that you probably don't know at all, right?
Barely know him. Yeah.
But he comes with a great reputation.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay? And, I'm talking like he's in the third person. He's sitting right there.
Right.
Terry Purcell. Terry, first of all, congratulations. We're very happy to have you in Hazleton. So, Terry, tell me a little bit about yourself. So people who, I know you spoke at the chamber, and but now we have over 100,000 people want to know who you are.
Well, it's an honor to be on your show, Sam.
Thank
I've watched
you.
you interview John Fletcher many times over the years, and I always enjoyed the show. So, my name's Terry Purcell. Grew up in Schuylkill County. I think it's great that Lehigh Valley has 2 Schuylkill County residents overseeing the healthcare for a 3-county region. I grew up in Monterey City. When I got married.
Great town.
Great town. I moved to Barnesville. I didn't go far, a couple miles down the road. My wife, Virginia, is a physical therapist. I've been married 35 years now. 2 kids. They both went to Monterey area also. So I'm glad to be back serving in Schuylkill County.
Terry, what do you bring to the table? Okay, what do you bring to the table?
I bring a lot of experience. I bring a lot of market knowledge. So my first job was in Hazleton. I actually worked at St. Joe's Medical Center. My office was in the convent with the nuns.
Who was the
Sister Edwinaldo was.
Oh my God!
in charge.
And who was the president? I mean,
Steve Gimmer.
Steve Gimmer, yeah.
And I was hired by Tom Urish. So
yes,
I go back a long time. So I
worked with Steve. Yeah.
I worked there for 2 years.
Yeah.
After that, I came down to the old Good Samaritan Hospital, which is Schuylkill East.
Yes.
Worked there for 6 years. That's where I met Bill. We worked there for 4 years together. And then I went to Lehigh in the Carbon County. And I spent 25 years in Carbon County, hopefully improving the health care that was provided to the Carbon County residents. I started out in HR. I ended up becoming the president of the St. Luke's campus in Lehigh. And 3 years ago, I left to join Lehigh Valley. I always had a great working relationship with Lehigh Valley. We were affiliated with them for a long time. I think Lehigh Valley is a top-notch organization. Dr. Nestor is an outstanding leader, and I'm proud to be on his team. So I have a lot of experience in physician recruitment. You talked to
I was impressed with Brian when he was on my show. I mean, he brings, and he's such a nice guy. Okay, when you're leading a team. Okay, and I asked Bill, how do you know what to do, etc. What do you see in terms of the, well, let's talk about Hazleton Hospital, and what do you see in growth there? And what do you see in the Northwest region in the growth?
Sure. First of all, in Hazleton, we do need additional providers. So we talked about the importance of physician recruitment. In the last 4 months, we added 4 new providers to the market, which is very important. In November, a urologist will be joining us, and it's very difficult to recruit a urologist anywhere in the United States, and we have one coming to Hazleton in the next 2 weeks. So we're going to expand the providers. The other thing, the one need that we had at Lehigh Valley Hazleton was orthopedic surgery. There's a shortage of orthopedic surgeons, and since we merged with Coordinated Health, there's 6 orthopedic surgeons.
You got the best.
In them, we have
you
the
have
best.
the best.
And what's nice, that facility is beautiful, but there's a lot of unfinished space there. So we're going to grow, we're going to expand, we're going to add additional services there. So we're working on a strategic plan for that location.
Talking about orthopedic surgery, we had Martinez and my good friend Dr. Mady, who has been with him for years. And we had, I even text Tammy, we had a number of people who watched the show and wanted their number because they finally were convinced that they needed, or the knee or whatever. And the both of them had so much information to give, and so you got all the bases covered, okay? What are you working on now?
We're working on a strategic plan for Station Circle. Then we'll be looking to expand on the Health and Wellness Center also. So we have a lot of growth opportunities for Hazleton.
Okay, so when I had my 20 stores, retail stores, okay, and we had over 400 people working for us, input was very important from the managers because I'm not in Carlisle or Harrisburg. I need input from the managers. So you have many of doctors and many medical workers, etc. How do you get input from them so they feel a part of the growth of what's happening in the hospital?
Sure. I think you'll find out with Bill and I. We know we don't have all the answers, but if you get the whole team together, we can figure it out together. So we need their input because they know what's going on the ground level. Our management team, we need their input because they're really driving the patient satisfaction and the patient care. So we involve them every step of the way. It's not us sitting in the office coming up with the plan. It's everybody together working to come up with the best plan.
I think that's so important. It's funny.
If I could add just a little bit to that, if you don't mind. The other thing we do is not just from the management team, but every year we survey our colleagues, an online survey by a third-party company. And that's pretty unique. Most companies that survey their colleagues typically do it every other or every third year. We feel it's so important that our colleagues have a voice in the way we operate and the way we move forward and in our success, quite frankly. And so we do a survey every year, typically in April. And this year, because of really the trauma that everybody's gone through with COVID, we're actually doing a mid-year survey, an abbreviated survey. It's not quite as long because we want that feedback. So that then Terry and I and our leaders across our network will develop action plans around the results of that survey. So not only do we survey our patients, we survey our colleagues as well.
I remember when Lehigh Valley came on board. Now, I was with St. Joe's, working with them for years, and Fletcher was in my office a number of times. How do we let people know that they don't have to go out of town for, that was, back then, you have to go out of town. Well, we have the best that you can imagine. Some of the doctors who are good friends of mine were, oh, this is not going to work, blah, blah, blah. And they were a little skeptical. And now it's like a complete flip. They're so excited about, what the hospital's doing. I always tell people, they say, well, we have to get a second opinion. Well, when you're going to a doctor at Lehigh Valley Hospital, I know this is redundant, you're going to a lot of doctors because they have resources of checking many other doctors. Am I correct in saying that?
That's correct, absolutely. The other thing is we look at on a regular basis what patients are leaving the community for care elsewhere. And our goal is to make sure we provide those services locally. So urology is a great example. Everyone had to leave Hazleton to get that type of care. Now we're able to respond to the community need and recruit that physician. So we do that on a continuous basis.
You talk about technology. I had a conversation with Dr. Velez, I think, in Allentown, a heart specialist, right? A video, and it's like, had all my charts there, et cetera, and we're going back and forth, and it was just amazing. I'm thinking this is, instead he had to go, he didn't have to drive to Allentown to speak to a noted surgeon, and I think the telemedicine is that working well for you guys?
It's absolutely outstanding. People don't have to drive to leave the community for the care. Dr. Luther Rhodes, who's an infectious disease specialist, with all this COVID going around us, he's able to do teleconsults on all these sick patients and improve their care immediately. So it keeps the patient close to home, close to their family, and it's providing for outstanding care.
This pandemic, as we were talking before the show, Bill, has been like unbelievable. It's just like, it's sad. So you were telling me, where are we at with the pandemic? I know we're taping today, but I mean, we're going to show this in the better part of November, early part of December. Where are we with pandemic? What do you see?
Yeah, so right now, unfortunately, Sam, I'm unhappy to report that the numbers are up. So we have 22 inpatients here at Schuylkill County today, the highest number of patients we've had in months. Now, Schuylkill County has historically lagged a little bit on the curve. So, some other areas are starting to see the curve bend downward and the numbers dropping. We're not seeing that right now, unfortunately, here in Schuylkill County. I'm optimistic we will get there, in the coming weeks, but I'm concerned. The number of people that are hospitalized right now is higher than we've seen in a very, very long time.
How do you feel about the booster shots?
Booster shots are great. Yesterday we had 500 people attend our clinic and get their shots. So the children are starting to get their shots yesterday, so they had a good time. They made it fun, and the children had a good time. So the booster shots have been very well received.
I'm scheduled to get mine. My wife's getting hers tomorrow. Okay, folks, I'm talking to Bill Reppy, no stranger. Now, we do this, the Schuylkill Hospital, the Lehigh Valley Hospital, Schuylkill, we do this every 3 months, but we're on every month with the Hazleton Hospital, and it's great to bring Terry on board. For those of you who don't know him, I don't recall, but you remember going back many years ago, up in Hazleton. It's amazing. I wish you the best, and I could say this: is just continue doing what you're doing, because it's really, we're so lucky in northeastern Pennsylvania to have a Lehigh Valley Hospital network. Okay, we're going to take a short break. We'll be back right after this. I'm here at Lehigh Valley Hospital Schuylkill. You just heard from Bill and Terry on the Northwest region and what they're doing in terms of developing healthcare. And Lehigh Valley never stops. In fact, a new program is starting. It's called Family Medicine Rural Residency Program, and I have with me Dr. Mackenzie, Mady, who is in charge of this. So this is something new, correct?
Correct, it is.
Fill me in, because once again, I'm always excited about what the hospital is doing.
Well, we are excited as well. So essentially, the Lehigh Valley Health Network Schuylkill Rural Family Medicine program, which is a mouthful, is a brand new program that originated out of a 2019 HRSA grant. So this was an incredibly exciting thing. We were the first class of grantees, and the grant originated out of the need to help fill the physician shortage in a rural area, as well as to reduce the health outcome disparities that we see in a rural area as well.
So how does that work? Okay, I mean, so you're talking about rural residency and how do you attract these physicians to come here?
Well, part of the goal is the training aspect. So what the residency program is a training program. So once somebody graduates from medical school, they need to complete a residency in order to become a full-fledged independent physician. So a family medicine residency is a 3-year training program. So the goal of the program is to train the residents in Schuylkill County in an effort to get them to essentially stay and fill the needs of Schuylkill County and the surrounding local counties in Pennsylvania.
Okay, so I should ask this before. Tell me about you.
Tell me about me.
Tell me about you. Tell me about your background so people know who you are and, get acquainted with you.
Well, I am a family medicine physician. I've been practicing.
Are you sure? Because you're too young to be a family.
Well, quite sure. So I'm from Schuylkill County, which is why I'm super excited about the program, because it's an effort for the residents to give back to the county. But I've worked as a family medicine physician my entire life, and venturing into this new journey as a program director.
Who can apply?
So who can apply? Essentially, people that have completed medical school can apply, and they apply through ERAS, which is the electronic residency application system.
Okay, can they call the hospital and ask about it, the residency program?
So Kim Infante, who is our program coordinator, and I believe her information will be shared at some point, she can be contacted if they have any additional questions.
Right. Do you have anyone on board now ready to start the program, and when will the program start?
So we will actually have our first class of residents on site next summer, so the summer of 2022. Right now we're actually in the midst of interviewing season, so it's a very busy time for us, very exciting, but we're interviewing residents currently.
So what are you looking for, Mackenzie? What are you looking for in these residents, and how does it benefit healthcare for the region?
Well, we're looking for basically our first class of residents, which we're looking for a pioneer resident, somebody who's looking to join a new residency and truly become embedded in the community. And that's one of the things that I'm most excited about, is the rural residency is an opportunity for these residents to not just train in Schuylkill County, but to become more integrated and embedded into the county in an effort to give back to the county.
So the goal of the program is to attract doctors to stay here, right? Mm-hmm. Is that after the residency, after the program?
Correct.
How long is the program?
It's a 3-year program.
Oh, 3-year program.
Mm-hmm. And
so these are doctors who have graduated, but they have to do residency.
Correct, yes.
Right? And so the residency doctors, they get involved, don't they? I mean, they work with the other doctors, right?
They do. I mean, they have their medical degree. So they're practicing, but they're practicing under the guidance of what we call attending physicians. And they will be practicing at Schuylkill Medical Plaza, which is where I currently work, seeing patients in the outpatient setting. And they'll also be training here at this local hospital.
Tell me how this, when you say it's a 3-year program, does it mean that it's a schooling process and then also on working with the physicians, or how does that?
So they already went through medical school, so they're done. And again, a physician goes through 4 years of undergraduate. Many of them do additional graduate studies. Then they attend 4 years of medical school. So residency is more of again, you already have your medical degree and you're doing hands-on learning while you're practicing as a physician. But you're practicing under the guidance of a physician who has many more years of experience. So, and residency programs are all over the country. I mean, this is how...
Nothing new.
No, nothing new. This is how doctors become doctors.
What care and services will the program provide the community?
So they will provide care and services as a sort of regular physician. So again, seeing patients for whatever they may need to see a family medicine physician. And remember, family medicine physicians see patients from all ages, from infants up to the geriatric patient, for a wide variety of issues. They will also help take care of the patients in the inpatient setting who are hospitalized, undergoing, delivering babies, in the ER, et cetera.
How many residents will you accept?
So there will be 4 per year. So our first class will be 4. But then once we are full with our 3 years, we'll have a total of 12.
Now, you sound excited about this
I
program.
am excited, very excited.
Why are you so excited about it?
Because as a Schuylkill County native and a Schuylkill County resident, and it's like I had said before, it's just truly an opportunity to give back to the community because we have very enthusiastic residents who, again, can help us continue to identify the needs of Schuylkill County and, again, provide the services that Schuylkill County desperately needs.
Well, Mackenzie, if your enthusiasm is catchy and all these people have the same enthusiasm you have, once again, kudos to Lehigh Valley Network for doing what they're doing in this program. It's a family medicine rural residency program just starting. I keep telling you, my friends, Lehigh Valley Hospital, the network has been absolutely fantastic in bringing great health care. Here's an opportunity for you to see how great we're doing, and I wish you the best.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
It was nice meeting you,
Nice
too.
meeting you as well.
Okay. Once again, you can watch us 24/7, ssptv.com. All of the health shows, my friend, that we have done are on the website or YouTube or Facebook. We'll see you next time.